Do you ever struggle with naming things? A product, a service, a baby, a business? If so, this is the video for you. See, I've become known in my friend entrepreneur circles as the person that you go to when you want to come up with a name for something. So I have a lot of friends, they ping me on email or Facebook Messenger and they're like, Catherine, I need you, I have an idea, but I don't know what to name it. And for a lot of us, we can't move forward to the next step until we have this name or logo or whatever it is that we think is the hurdle to get to the next step. So in this video, you're going to learn 1, how to come up with a name for your new thing. 2, creating a simple logo, even if you have no design experience whatsoever. And 3, getting the domain and everything else involved. For this video, I'm going to use a case study of an actual process that I went through with my friend Brian. Brian comes to me and says, I have an idea, I want to create this product, but I don't know what to name it. And so this is what my process looks like. My name's Catherine Lavery. I'm co-founder and CEO of Best Self Co. And my goal is to share productivity, leadership, and business ideas to empower creators to change the world. In this video, I'll be using a case study of something that actually happened to me, a product that I named, unbranded, using the process that I'm going to share with you today. So it all started when my friend Brian Harris came to me and a small group saying, I have an idea for a product, but I'm not sure what to name it. And the whole product was about a software system that helped people launch their products. So it was a software system that helped people come up with a launch strategy. So his two constraints were 1, it had to be short and snappy, like everyone wants, and 2, it couldn't have launch in the title. So for this, I'm thinking, okay, let me take you behind the scenes of my process. Step 1 is to brainstorm all the possible names. And to do this, I either get my notebook or I open a blank Google Doc and I start writing down words to do with whatever the product does. So you're going to see what my screen looks like at the side here, and you'll see how it is I work out this process. So firstly, I write down all the words related to whatever it is that I'm trying to do. So in this case, it's launch, release, flight, ship, product, propel, plan. I'm just thinking, what is he trying to do and what are verbs and nouns to do with that project? So just take 5-10 minutes, brainstorm everything that you can. And then I knew that he didn't want to use the word launch in his name, so I was very cognizant of not doing that. So the next step is take all these words and I go to thesaurus.com, which is a really useful tool if you haven't used it before, because you put in the words from either your brainstorm or something that they don't want to use and see what else is possible. So for Brian's product, he didn't want to use the word launch, so I looked up launch in Thesaurus to see what else would come up. And you can see here, fire, barrage, bombard, catapult, discharge. Catapult seems interesting, drive seems interesting, fling, heave, hurl, pitch, project, shoot, sling. So I'm looking through what's interesting. He's trying to plan something, so when I put in map, I get things like Pathfinder. I'm thinking product Pathfinder, maybe it's not great. It's a good start, but it's too many syllables. It's not short and snappy. And then what I ended up after like 5-10 minutes was slingshot. So I got sling and shoot from looking up launch in Thesaurus, and try saying that 5 times fast. So I looked up launch in the Thesaurus, I see shoot and sling, and I'm thinking slingshot's a pretty cool name because, it's a very direct, targeted tool, and he's trying to create something that is a direct tool to help people launch something. So I kind of like that idea. It was short, snappy, I didn't have to explain how to spell it. That's another thing, is when I'm coming up with something, if you have to explain how to spell it, or it's like something dash something, I try not to do that because it's just kind of annoying. You'll always be explaining how to spell it. So I ended up going with Slingshot. That is the system that I use every single time I try to come up with a name. The next part is getting the domain name. So it's hard to get .coms anymore because so many are taken. There's nothing wrong with .co, it's bestself.co, or another type of domain name. For Brian's project specifically, he wanted to use it off his subdomain. So getting like .com wasn't super important to him, but you have to figure out if it's important to you. Next thing is finding the domain. So here's a couple of sites that I like to use: Lean Domain Search, Impossible, Domainer. I will create like a tool resource guide so you can get all these links. But if you go on here, you can find what's available and if the social media links are also available. So what you do here is, maybe you did not come up with an actual name, you just came up with some words that you liked. You can go to Lean Domain Search, you can put in the word, and then you can search by length, if it ends with that search term or starts with that search term, and it will show you domains that are available with that search term. Then there's this site, which is another way to get domains, where you put the word in, which you can add adjectives, verbs, nouns to the beginning and the end, and it will find domains related to that word. So that's a good way to find a domain if that's important to you. Next is designing a logo. Now before, if any designers are watching this, I'm also a designer. I know that logos take a lot of time, branding takes a lot of time, but this is for people that want to get something out the door, or they want to move to the next part of this idea. This is for those times. So it can give you either the logo that you want, or it can give you an idea of what it is that you're looking for. So it's either to create a logo, or it's to create a reference to hand off to a designer who can give you a logo. First is go to a couple of font websites. I have a ton of fonts on my computer, so I'm actually not going to do this, but I'll show you how to do it. So you want to go to font websites like dafont.com or fontsquirrel.com, or just Google best fonts 2018-2019. What you'll get is a big list of fonts, and from there you pick ones that you like or you feel like go with the vibe of what it is that you're going for, and you install them into your computer. But once you have like a good selection of fonts, what you want to do is to go to wordmark.it. And what that does, it loads all of these fonts onto your web browser so you can start typing in, you know, the words that you came up with for your name and start just coming up with some ideas. So what you want to do is type in the product name and click load fonts, and it will load those fonts that you just downloaded from your computer, and it will generate previews that look like this. From here, just scroll through the previews and select any that you're interested in. Once you've selected some that you're interested in, you just filter by selected, and that will isolate the fonts and the word marks that you picked out. It's super easy and quick to do this because instead of me being in Photoshop or something, trying to see, oh, did I like that one better or this one better, and going back and forth, I can just see all of them and select the ones that I like. So even if you have a photo editing software, this is super easy and quick to just get a quick preview of what something will look like. So once I select a couple of ones that I like, I will isolate them so that I can see, the top, 3 to 5 options that look good to me. Another great website for this is Typekit. I think you have to pay for that or be a member of Adobe to use that, but that's another great way to look at a bunch of fonts all at once. The final logo did end up being a variation of this, so this is what it looked like at the end, and it was slightly upgraded with a little rocket. Obviously we didn't get that from this process, but the text format came from this logo process. It wasn't this big fancy design process where we're doing concepts. It literally came from seeing what fonts worked. After I'd been doing this for a long time, I was at Traffic and Conversion, and I learned that these two logos by the guys behind Digital Marketer, and now have turned into huge brands, started from a similar process that they used to come up with their logo. So don't think if you have something that you can't just create a logo and get started. You don't have to hire a big designer when you first get started to be able to get off the block and feel like you're a professional. You can just do something like this. And I say that as a professional that has designed logos. So there you go. That is my process behind how I came up with a name, how I came up with a branding, and how to get a domain and register it and make sure the social's available, the website's available, and you can just get going. I hope this was helpful. If you come up with something, I would love to hear in the comments either the name of your new product, your idea, drop it in the link below so I can check it out, and I'll see you on the next video.